The Earth holds many treasures that humans have exploited over the years. Through these discoveries, we've marked our place on this planet and achieved things that seem impossible. In this video, we'll take a look at some game-changing discoveries that scientists have made below the Earth's surface. These discoveries have changed the landscape of our planet for good and for worse. First, we have the discovery of our predecessors. Why don't we begin from our own beginning? What has the Earth told us about ourselves, or about a version of ourselves that no longer exists? We're talking about the discovery of human fossils. Finding human bones was never really a splendid experience. It could mean you've stumbled upon someone's grave or discovered a homicide victim. But in 1848, when a human skull was found in a quarry at the British territory of Gibraltar, things changed. At first, the skull seemed ordinary to the human eye, but the Gibraltar Scientific Society preserved it anyway. They linked it to the great biblical flood that almost wiped out the entire human race. However, 8 years later after its discovery, a naturalist, Johann Ferlot, realized its significance upon closer inspection. You see, in 1856, there was a major breakthrough in the world of evolutionary science. In a place called the Neanderthal Valley, located in Germany, a bunch of limestone miners, while working in a quarry, found a funny-looking skull cap. The cave's owner thought it belonged to a bear and simply handed it to Johann Ferlot. Ferlot wasn't really a professional fossil hunter, but just from looking at the skull cap, he could tell that it didn't belong to a modern human. He linked this skull cap to the one found in Gibraltar and deduced that both of them belonged to a race of humans that came before us. What set this skull cap apart from the skull cap of modern human beings? Well, it had a pretty low forehead with two big brow ridges at the bottom. The shape of the skull was also oval as compared to our skull, which is round-shaped. Since this discovery, scientists have pieced together the knowledge of our ancestors. Previously, it was believed that we were directly descended from this race, which are now known as the Neanderthals. But thanks to DNA technology, it has since been proved that we aren't direct descendants, but we do share a common ancestor with them. This discovery has transformed evolutionary science and has helped scientists deduce the significance of how our bodies are now. Then we have the dinosaur fossils. Sure, finding out about your distant ancestors is quite cool, but what about finding out that there were giant beings that once dominated this mighty planet? How cool must that discovery have been? In 1677, an Englishman by the name of Robert Plot published his findings in a book called Natural History of Oxfordshire. In the book, he mentioned finding a thigh bone of what he believed belonged to an ancient giant. But years later, in 1824, when a professor at Oxford University studied the bone and found out it belonged to a giant lizard that had gone extinct, he named this lizard Megalosaurus. So yes, he named it without knowing that it belonged to a dinosaur. Right around the same time, another species of dinosaurs was discovered by Marianne Mattel, and it was named Iguanodon, as it looked like the remains of an iguana. Still, the true identity of dinosaurs remained unknown, as people still mistook them to be lizards despite their size. In 1842, dinosaurs finally got their own family tree when a British naturalist, Sir Richard Owens, categorized and grouped the different fossils found all over the world and called this group Dinosauria, which roughly means terrible lizard in Greek. Sir Richard Owen also helped lay the foundation of London's Natural History Museum, which has the largest collection of dinosaur fossils on display. These findings and identification have pushed an entire field of science into existence, which is called paleontology. Dinosaur fossils have added to our knowledge about Earth's past and the kind of life forms it has helped sustain. These fossils have also helped us map the evolutionary chart of different animals like birds and lizards. Apart from all that, they have captured our imaginations and made living on this Earth even more exciting. Let's move on to a discovery that changed the way our world works forever. Humans have hunted for fuel for centuries. However, no one can deny that the discovery of oil and petrol has completely shifted the way our world operates. It's found a place in our society, in our politics, in our economy, basically everywhere. In ancient times, oil was in its most crude form, called asphalt. It was mostly used to construct walls. But it was the ancient Chinese who extracted oil from below the ground, using their bamboo wells. But still, oil was largely unrecognized as the commodity it is today. In the mid-1800s, a Scottish chemist by the name of James Young started experimenting with oil he found seeping out at a colliery. He decided to refine it using a standard distillation method and started a small business. He sold this oil to light lamps, which quickly became popular. However, the real craze for petrol began in Pennsylvania when a man named Edwin Drake used a modern oil drill to find petrol in Titusville, Pennsylvania. Previously, whale oil was mostly used to light lamps, but with this discovery, petrol quickly rose to popularity. This started what's known as the Pennsylvania Oil Rush, as many companies rushed to drill and look for oil in different parts of Pennsylvania, then Texas and California. In 1865, John Rockefeller founded Standard Oil Company and pretty much controlled about 90% of America's oil refining. In Russia, there was the Rothschild family, which tried to expand their business overseas. With the introduction of automobiles in our daily lives, the world has hunted for more petrol and never looked back. While petrol is considered to be the most primary fuel used today, its discovery and its production has led to environmental devastation as as we all know. So why don't we move to a safer alternative that the Earth has given us? We're talking about another source of energy that comes directly under the Earth. This is known as geothermal energy, heat produced from the Earth's inner layers. This heat manifests in the form of hot springs and volcanoes and can be turned into power that can fuel entire cities. Though the first discovery of geothermal energy is difficult to identify, it has been a major part of Native American history. About 10,000 years ago, Native Americans used the Earth's inner heat in the form of hot springs. Not only did these hot springs act as heating systems and help them cook, but it also held spiritual significance for them and still does. Its potential for producing energy was realized much later in 1904 in Italy by scientist Piero Gennari Conti, who used geothermal energy to power a small generator. The experiment was successful, and later Laterello became the first place to open a geothermal power plant. After the Second World War, America became a strong advocate for tapping into geothermal energy. In 1960, the site for the largest geothermal power complex opened up in San Francisco. Right now, it has around 22 power plants that use steam from the ground. The country Iceland prides itself for largely running on power produced by geothermal energy. Right now, when oil and gas companies are ravaging our planet and pushing the human race into extinction, safer alternatives like geothermal energy seem to be our only option. Finally, there's life under the Earth. Up till now, we've used the surface under the Earth to house dead people, basically to bury them. But recently, scientists have discovered life forms way deep into the Earth. The layer is called the biosphere and has such a diverse range of life forms, perhaps even more diverse than life on the surface of the Earth. 10 years of research has proven that these microorganisms can withstand immense pressure and heat. Samples taken from volcanic rocks seeping up from the ocean floor or cracks in the Earth. Deep Carbon Observatory, an international group of researchers, have come up with an astonishing discovery regarding these life forms. Some of them exist in a state of near death, as they have no sunlight reaching them and have little to no sustenance. In order to survive, they sometimes hibernate, and then their metabolism kicks in when the conditions are favorable. All of this research can tell us a lot more about life on the neighboring planet, Mars. So, what do these discoveries tell us about the Earth? Just like humans have explored about 5% of ocean water, the Earth's inner layers also remain to be a mystery. With more technological advancements, scientists hope to tap into the deeper layers of the Earth. Scientists hope to answer questions about the movement of tectonic plates, the existence of water underneath those, and assess whether the Earth's core is losing its energy or not. That's a wrap for this video. What discovery are you most excited for? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.